Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Atheist Experience Live. Today is Sunday, August 1st, 2010. I'm Matt Delaney. Joining me this week back, finally, AronRa. Welcome.
How you do?
We're always glad to have him come down. He was here in March, I believe, wasn't it? And now we're back. And he got to go to the amazing meeting 8, and I didn't. So we'll probably spend some time talking about that today. This is a live public access television program that takes phone calls. So we'll have the number up for you really soon, and you'll be able to call in and ask questions, both of AronRa or me, or about TAM, or whatever subject you want to talk about. We're sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. The ACA has weekly meetings every Sunday at Romeo's on Barton Springs Road, beginning at around 11:30, except for the first Sunday of the month, which was today. We'll host our lecture series at the Austin History Center, located at the corner of 9th and Guadalupe. Today's lecture, we had Brian and Sarah from Americans United for Church-State Separation, or Americans United for Separation of Church and State. Let me make sure I get the name of the organization right. Come in and talk a little bit about church-state separation and what's going on with that. I'll have a little bit more at the end of the announcements about things that are upcoming with AU, but I was really glad that they made it down today. We had a good time. If you're in the Austin area and want to come to those lectures, they're open to the public. All of our events are open to the public. You don't have to be a member to attend as long as you're coming down to actually participate and not to preach, proselytize, or provoke, or protest, or pester, or any of the other things that we don't need at our events. You're more than welcome. After this program's over, those of us involved get together and go to dinner at Threadgill's at 301 West Riverside Drive. And this show is on until 6 o'clock. We'll be down there around 6:30 or so. That's also open to the public as well. In addition to this program, the ACA also sponsors a biweekly internet audio podcast, and I have to keep saying that now because it's in my contract to make people laugh, which is currently on hiatus until I get my move situation sorted out, and we're in the new place in September. But Russell and Linnea and Martin and some of his friends have put together rogue episodes that have been posted. You can go to Nonprofits Radio, that's PHETS, nonprofitsradio.com for more information about that program and to catch up on the podcast episodes that were put up there recently. In addition, there's a number of events coming up. September 25th will be the ACA's annual Bat Cruise. For more information about the ACA or the Bat Cruise, you can visit the website www.atheist-community.org. There you will find the information on the Bat Cruise, the information on our other events, and a frequently asked questions page where you can go to get answers to questions that we have frequently been asked. Or at least we're going to pretend like we've been asked frequently because they're things that we think need to be addressed. If you do not get through on the telephone today or you don't want to, you can email tv@atheist-community.org. That goes to myself, the co-host, most of the people behind the scenes. Aaron isn't actually on that list, so he won't be getting those emails, but I'll do my best to forward any questions you have to him, and hopefully you'll get to him even in a more timely fashion than I do. We can't possibly promise to answer all the email that comes in. There's simply too much. We do answer quite a bit of it, though, and we do read all of it as long as you put AETV or NPR in the subject line to make sure it gets through the spam filters. It got read. It might not got read the day you sent it, but it will definitely be read. In addition, the Texas Free Thought Convention is coming up October 8th through 10th in Dallas. You can go to texasfreethoughtconvention.com, I believe. It may be .org. I don't actually have a slide for the actual convention website. It's one of those two, and it'll give you all the information, including your registration and the speakers list and information about where to stay and what sort of events are going to be going on in the area, including a kind of introduction to Camp Quest, something we've talked about several times, and Amy Parsons was here last month for the lecture to talk a little bit about Camp Quest there. That's going to be going on in conjunction with the Free Thought Convention. It's always a good time if you're able to make it. We'll be driving up there, taking some of the equipment from the Nonprofits podcast and recording some interviews with the speakers and showing highlight clips of the show and having a good time. So if you can't make it to Austin, if you're in the Dallas area, if you can make it to the Dallas area, wanted to meet folks from the show, we'll be up there kind of doing a mock show since we can't obviously tap into public access from way up there. I mentioned Americans United spoke to us this morning. They have a number of events coming up, including Reverend Stephen Baines sometime around the end of August. I don't have details on exactly when and where that's going to happen yet. He'll be in town to talk to believers and non-believers about how to better communicate and cooperate, about how to bridge this communication gap that seems to happen it seems to exist between believers and non-believers who both support church-state separation. There are people, church-state separation is not just an idea that's supported by atheists and freethinkers. It's supported by theists as well, and should be supported by everybody. If you understood it properly about how it protects everybody's religious freedom, there's absolutely no reason to not support it. It's only a bunch of ideologues that want to push an agenda that actually oppose church-state separation. And on October 18th, which is a Monday, the Reverend Barry Lynn, who is the current head of the Americans United for Separation of Church and State, will be in town. We'll get more details as that event gets closer. And we're hoping to see some of you guys out at those events, including dinner after the show. And that's all the announcements. So you can change the background graphic. If you remember, there it is. It's replaced with pause bars. Although, I think everybody should listen to and love the announcements.
All right.
Because if your group isn't doing this much stuff, you could be. It's pretty easy. How you doing?
It's all right. It's all right. A little road worn, sat in the car.
The road warrior.
3 hours down there, yeah.
So obviously you went and did something fun last month that I didn't get to do.
Yeah, I made a hell of a trip out of it. But yeah, I got to go to TAM. I got to be a fanboy for a bit, meeting some people that I'd been looking forward to meeting for months. I mean, James Randi wasn't in Florida when I went to do the Darwin Day thing. He was supposed to be there. Initially, when they sold me on the idea, they said that he and I were going to be sitting together as luminaries at the fundraising dinner. It didn't happen. But I did finally get to meet him up there. It was a great thing. He's a really sweet guy. The remarkable thing was that when I was going to meet him, and I see him just standing a few feet away and nobody's bothering him, oh, that's James Randi, and I can't get to him because other people were coming up to take pictures with me and shake my hand, and he was just kind of standing there stroking his beard watching this going on, so that was kind of cool.
Good times. Yeah. I got to go to TAM 7 last year, but I wanted to talk a little bit, we're lining up some callers, the telephone number's up, and we'll start taking callers here in just a couple minutes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, what you thought about the amazing meeting, what you thought the highlights were, and anything that you thought they might have been able to improve on or change or anything like that.
Well, I didn't get, as we were talking about before, I didn't get a lot of education out of it. I did see a couple of things that were addressed that, one of which I thought should be, and another one I had a little bit of a objection to. One, somebody was speaking, and I got so confused because it had so many things going on. I was in and out the whole time. But somebody had mentioned about being vitriolic to believers and people of faith, and I'm completely down with that message. There's absolutely no reason to be hostile. As you are a great example of this, I think I am to a lesser degree, and many other people.
I'm a great example of being hostile?
Well, I'm getting to a point.
Okay.
The most outspoken advocates of rational thinking, of skepticism, of this sort of philosophy of believing things that are not that are based on reason as opposed to faith. The greatest proponents of this type of thinking are all ex-believers. Most of them are ex-creationists. So any of you, when you get into a debate, and people ask me all the time whether there's any purpose in debating theists, online on YouTube and Usenet or what have you, yes, there's a value to it, because every now and again, some people's minds do change. And when they do, that person that you're debating with, the one that you might be tempted to throw hostilities at right now, might well turn into an ally later on. People that I have gotten into hostile debates with have posted comments to me maybe a year or so later saying, it took me a while to figure it out, but you were right, and they're now advocating the same position. Bear that in mind, that that is an eventuality, and try to keep the vitriol down, because that very often may be the only thing holding them back from realizing that their position is unstable and not on solid ground.
Yeah. And